Hello, Earthbound enjoyers and David Byrne enjoyers. We're gonna get another race started here. It is once again round 2 of Swiss for the Earthbound Super Series Boogey% tournament. You probably know that, because you've been seeing it for like a week and a half now. Don't even have to do anything to sync that. That's already basically there. Okay, you could maybe nitpick like a half second, but it's, you know, I feel like if I futz with it, can I say futz on the restream? It's just gonna make it worse. That's close enough, I say. No, like, hold on. Like that. Yeah. Thank you. Completely PG rated. Good luck, have futz. Indeed. But I don't do a whole lot of commentating. Hopefully we won't find out why. Exciting this race though, because both very good runners. You hope so. You hope it isn't a race between like a really good runner and this person. But this time, both fantastic, RJsmangit and MissDesGames. I'm vamping at this point because all you do in this part of the run is walk up a hill and back down. Someone in chat said this is actually a stream to see how good Peen's filter is. The trick is I don't have to fight Titanic Ant while I'm commentating. So I don't have to yell curse words. Brooke with the raid, Brooke who just did a race moments ago. And GG on it. Pretty much getting up and down the hill at the same time. As you'd expect. Not a lot of RNG for this spot, unless, you know, one of Ness's family members gets in his way. So unless you just have honey stuck in your D-pad that's gunking it up, then you're probably going to have a pretty consistent hill climb for that first bit. Or fly honey. I'm just thinking if Winnie the Pooh ran this game, his controller would get real sticky real fast. And I don't even know if he could make it to Starman Jr. All that guy does is grab handfuls of honey. Oh bother. Alright, will they go behind the couch? One does, one doesn't. There's a diverging strat. Very, very slightly faster to go behind the couch if you don't get stuck. Either on the way there or the way back. Des does not appear to get stuck. Fraction of a second has been successfully saved. And birds! It's a bit hard to predict what the crows in this game are gonna do. And you just end up surrounded by them. Like you're in that one Tippi Hedren movie with all the birds. But RJ's opting to be more cautious with them because they're jerk birds. You forget what that movie was called? I do as well, honestly. Dog nicely stuck behind a tree for Dez, but there's a snake in a 5% spawn plate. So RJ doing quite a lot of despawning, but still making it up the hill first on account of not taking a fight, but still pretty close right about now, this race. A major lead on either side. Just one of them fought a bird. Again, very skill-intensive this part. You say yes to this beetle, and then say no to him. They have both done this successfully. RJ grabbing the bread roll. Dez almost certainly also grabbing the bread roll. It is an option to skip it, but your Frank fight can become pretty spicy. You can run out of heals real fast. Good damage roll on RJ's side. And a freeze. So that fight's looking fast so far. Because freeze is one of the faster things Starman Jr. can do. It's not AoE, so you don't have to, you know, sit through as much text. Less good on the second damage roll. There could be a lead swap just from this fight. It's really good for one of them. Doesn't look like it, though. RJ with the accidental manip. But still only a few seconds of difference now. Even with the accidental manip. It takes everything in me not to just go doot 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 beep boop boop. Just out of habit. The thing is, if you've been grinding RNG manipulation in this game for long enough, you got to do something to fill time. Because you're getting the same RNG every run. Nothing really happens for the first 30 minutes of a manip run. Once again, a whole lot of dialogue, where as Buzz is dying, he tells you, "I really love the band NSYNC. My favorite member is Harpo," and then he dies. RJ getting jumped by a dog. Is also getting a dog, but knows she can get past it. They basically got the same 7% spawn. And we're equipping a baseball bat that we were given, or a baseball cap that we were given as a gift, and then immediately turning around and selling it because we're horrible people. I'm seeing some good Lords Harrison Ford in chat, which I appreciate. Des with 13 offense, which is abnormally high, but she did fight a bird. Or was that defense? I think that was defense. That's still abnormally high. RJ smashing the Pogo Punk. It was 1 HP away from death after that first crit. And Des can one-shot it because, in part, because she fought a bird. So, you know, paying off. Quicker Pogo Punk fight. They basically had the same fight, but Des had more offense. So that just narrowed the lead slightly. We're all amazed by the 100% hamburger drop that they both happened to get. And, nothing too scary yet. No one having HP drop to a terrifying range. One of them getting knifed much more than the other, but they're pretty synced at this point. Oh, but Dad's got crit. That's no good. Okay, Frank backed off on the next turn. Otherwise, she would have been dead and there would be nothing she could do. It would not have been her fault in the slightest. But Frank decided to not be a jerk on the following round. For once. But I didn't see if there was a lot of Ness missing, or if it was just a lower offense stat or what, but RJ was taking a lot more rounds to get through that Frank fight, even though they started it at about the same time. Ooh. I wonder if that was like an overmash on Dez's part. Because she had 5 psychic points left. But HP was so low. Sometimes I look over at one screen and miss what happens on the other. At least in this case, you don't have to fight Frank over again, but you do have to get the Pickle Man outside your front door. As always, when you run Boogey%, you must keep a little pickle under your pillow for the Pickle Man, in case he comes to town. And there he goes. I've stood by my fan theory that the photo man is Ness's dad. And the reason I like this theory is it implies that Ness can't recognize his own father because he's wearing a top hat. Like there's a Clark Kent situation where his dad is dressed like Dr. Demento, but he can't recognize him. But that's why he knows to give you money every time you defeat an enemy, because he's watching from his cloud that he, you know, comes down from when he takes your picture. And then he puts money in your bank account. Yeah, he has his little Lakitu cloud. I've never been sure if it's Lakitu or Lakitu. And I'm sure whichever one I say, someone will tell me it's wrong. Just as no one's sure how to pronounce Onet. But Dez does make it past Frankenstein this time. RJ buying a can of fruit juice as a treat. One ta-ta? Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce that? One ta. Put your burgers away, one ta. Sorry, I have like a brain worm, I'm sorry. Don't we all? Yeah, if you speedrun this game on purpose, there might be something a little bit wrong with your brain. RJ making it past that mouse, getting his first slug pack. It's the only part of really any Earthbound category where there's a level grind. As we're fighting 22 slugs to hit level 8, it's about the only realistic way to get past Titanic Ant in a non-manipulated run. Dez skipping burgers. That's interesting. I guess to make up for the time loss on that Frankenstein death. Not the first time I've seen her skip burger shopping in a race. And it has paid off for her. But it's a scary thing to do. There's instant winning a single slug, which is some kind of strat named after Obama, I'm not sure. Thanks, Obama, indeed. And RJ, for those who don't know, you intentionally want to get a mouse stuck where RJ has one, so that the only thing that can spawn to the plate, in the plate to your left, is slugs. You can't get another mouse at this point. The mouse does have a very good sprite. It looks like it has a cold of some kind because of its big red nose. And maybe it's been too aggressive with the Kleenex. It's getting a 4-pack on the second floor, recognizing that that is a 4-pack, which requires some experience to differentiate slugs from ants once you get, you know, from the second floor upward once antoids start spawning. Because otherwise, you fight antoids, and they call for help forever, and you die. Yeah, those ones are ants that RJ is stuttering past. And those ones. Pulling off the stutters, though. Dez immediately finding a 6-pack. That presumably, and it's always hard to keep track of where anyone is with slugs when you're watching 2 racers at once and neither of them are you, because I can barely keep track of my own slug grinds. But it's especially hard to keep track of 2 other people's, but I presume this is level 8 for MissDes. RJ presumably trying to find a 6-pack as well, using a very different spot on floor 3 to do so. I haven't really seen this, where you go to the left side and try to find them on the right. I'll be interested if this does work. But I've never seen it. Realize why is Dez's timer stopped? Is that on my end? Oh, there it goes. Must have been on my end. It fixed itself. Oh, RJ did, it looks like, spawn a 6-pack, but I think he thought that those 2 nearby were part of the pack. And instead he got this ant and slug combo. But Des starting Titanic Ant, we'll see how this goes because she did not buy hamburgers. Oh, that worked out for RJ because he got a 4-pack. First turn crit on Dez's side. This is much like her Frank fight is gonna come down to what the ant does next, and it will not be in her control in the slightest. Yeah. That's, you hate to see that. Especially in a race where you can't reset. You hate to see that. But, you know, at least she already got the photo in front of Ness's house. Doesn't have to get it again. And, opting not to heal at Ness's mom. To my understanding, it is faster to heal with butterflies instead of at Ness's mom, because you don't get sent back to your room and stuff. Provided you can avoid fights the whole way up to the top of Giant Step. Yeah, no, I don't think she forgot. I think that's on purpose. Because my understanding is that's faster. But only if you can avoid fights and you don't, you know, need to use a rockin' to get out of a pincer. And RJ, knowing he has enough offense to instant win these antoids, opting to do that instead of stuttering past them, because who has time for that? That's a lot of slugs. Yeah, and that's the risk. That is the risk. That was an unreasonable amount of lag on the screen. See if RJ has better luck on Titanic Ant, because what happened to Dez can happen no matter how many hamburgers you have. He crits you turn 1, there's nothing you can do. You're doing a rockin', the animation takes forever, so your HP is rolling all the way down. But so far better luck. Going for rocket number 2. And outspeeding Titanic Ant and a shield, so we're looking much safer so far. Opting to eat a hamburger instead of doing a life up, which I guess paid off because Titanic Ant did a magnet and stole the psychic points. It would have just been a wasted turn if it was a life up. Titanic Ant is down. The ant was shielded for a lot of that fight, so it dragged on a little bit, but still a pretty clean fight. That successfully runs away from a slug pack. They do have a... Ooh, and there's another 6-pack. So the problem is, when there's a lot of lag on screen, stutter stepping becomes next to impossible. I'm not actually sure if it's because it changes the game's frame rate and therefore makes it harder to land on the correct frame with your stutter so that the enemy won't check that you're moving. I don't actually know why lag affects it. I just know that it does. I don't question these things. This is why I'm a runner and I don't come up with strats, is people just tell me, it's harder to stutter when there's lag, and I go, okay. And that's it. Oh yeah, that could be. Each one is checking on a different frame. That would surprise me, because it seems like they move toward you at the same time, but I do not know. Alright, much less scary first round on this Titanic Ant. But, not healing between the two Rockins because she did not buy burgers. This is kind of how you have to play this. You have to hope that Titanic Ant is not too aggressive at any one time. Yeah, I guess it's more the inconsistent frame rate. It's critting that shield away. And again, she's only at about half health right now, but that's kind of how you have to play this. And another crit. That'll do it. So this time, Ness was the one critting. Worked out a lot better. Just a lot of crits in Dez's run in general. Frank crit her, Titanic Ant crit her, Ness crit twice just now. That's been the theme for this last 30 minutes. And, yeah, RJ fighting the cops. Gobbling hamburgers, as one does. There's a joke in chat that I will not read out loud. But I will nod approvingly, knowing that I've said worse in Earthbound Super Series chats. Like 2 cops down on RJ's screen. So, that was the one last burger he's eating right now, but he's still got 30 psychic points. So not looking too sketchy yet. But outspeeding on a life up, you never want to see that. And Dez not buying burgers before cops either. You'll see some people do that. where they do Titanic Ant Burgerless. But then before cops, they go, you know what? Enough of this risk-taking business, and then they buy burgers, but not this time. Yeah, the I Love New York kid blocks your walk path to cops a whole lot. I've had newer runners ask me what the optimal walk path is between Giant Step and the cops. And I don't have a good answer for that because it entirely depends what that blonde kid does. RJ getting a free hamburger, which is good because he has only 10 psychic points and does not have full HP for Captain Strong. This is a little spicy. I think Ness was not doing his job on some of those last fights. But opting to open with the Rockin'. And has a funny number of hit points right now. It rolled gigantically. Oh, he's really close on HP. If this hits, yeah, okay, that'll finish the fight. That was, okay, that was terrifying. I'm not gonna say it was a bad play, because it was fast, but it was terrifying. So RJ makes it through. Looked like, just shy of 31 minutes. And looks like Des didn't eat that many hamburgers on Titanic Ant. So she has a decent number left. More than you would expect by this point when you're doing Burgerless Onett to still have this many burgers left on cops. Think that was the last cop before Captain Strong? Yeah. So in much better shape for this fight than RJ was in terms of how many resources she has left. Eating the burger turn 1, but he grapples on the same turn, so this burger essentially did nothing. It healed for 1 HP. So bailing on one of the Rockins and lifing up instead, probably a good call. Because he did that. He grappled again. That Captain Strong. But is still gonna do 1 Rockin'. Rolled okay. And she gets through. Not a terrifying 1 HP situation. But there's always some clenching going on that Captain Strong fight. Still not a huge gap between the two runners. Considering, you know, one of them died in Onett twice. There's only about a 2-minute difference. So still anyone's race. It kind of always is anyone's race because it's Boogey % and you can just die to the tent. So, don't hope that happens. I don't want to see it. But you can never say that someone has it in the bag because they made it to Winters or something. You just never know. It ain't over until you grab the honey. Yeah, there's a lot of factors there. Like, did your big bottle rocket go off already, and is that gone? How many times have you died to tent? Did you save at any point? Because after a certain number of tent deaths, it just becomes impossible to recover without some severe level grinding, because you just run out of money. Usually you have enough money to recover exactly 1 time. But your next Boogey fight's still probably going to be terrifying, because you probably won't have a big bottle rocket, you'll just have a bunch of regular ones. So ideally, you probably want to save at that point, otherwise you're kind of forced to drop out of the race if you die twice. But I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see any boogie tent deaths. Because this is going to be a good, clean race, is what this is. And, walk back from the pencil statue, giving RJ the business. Oh, not a swear recovery, I just don't know how to find words. I can assure you, my vocabulary is just very limited. All I know are the phrases boy howdy and Walter. Put your speed run away, Walter. That's all I have. And hammer down, rabbit ears, hammer down. I get on my ham radio, and I repeat the same couple phrases. Whole lot of despawning on both screens. Also, Hachi Machi, that rabbit suit is hot. I never said this. What are you talking about? Just because I made an emote of a character in a rabbit suit that's called Mommy doesn't mean anything. Anyway, RJ met up with Apple Kid and got an eraser, what erases statues of pencils. Because this game makes a lot of sense. And yet more sprouts that must be despawned on both screens. And you know what? Just for funsies. Where is it? Use this audio for a bit, because we're like halfway through the race. Why not switch it over? Now you get to hear the sweet drum part on the PRV music. That's right, we're passing by a bridge that some people do not count as a real bridge. But I believe it's a real bridge. RJ went up and planted Ness's face into that tree and then moved back down, which is actually an intentional spawn skip movement. Not a foolproof one. A lot of the spawn skips that you can do in Peaceful Rest Valley are the kind of things that will skip 2 spawn triggers but trigger one of them. So, you know, pick your poison. But they do help some. Making it out of Peaceful Rest Valley. As Dez begins that section. Erases the pencil. Big old tree that she can't seem to get rid of. Oh, she did, and then there's a robot. Ooh. Tries to get rid of the robot, runs into a UFO. She at least has full psychic points right now. But this is still, not the fight you want. Ugh. Yeah, there it is. There was a chance that that rocket would have just one-shot the UFO. But it didn't. It seems like we have some hesitation or a feeling of defeat, which, you know, you die to a UFO that put you in a big dumb pincer. It's understandable. See if she does, in fact, continue on. We don't yet know. But RJ does make it past Shack Fight. There weren't a million cultists calling for help. You know, maybe just getting up, doing a stretch, going over to the punching bag that is shaped like an Earthbound cartridge. We don't know yet. The timer's still running. I don't yet see a forfeit in the race room. That's true, the punching bag would be shaped like Titanic Ant. Yeah, Hobonichi needs to get on that. They need to start selling one of those. I wonder if there's a way...
Dear Mr. Etoy, we speedrun your game and we need this because we hate this big dumb ant. Yours truly, Attack Sluggington the Third.
That's what your letter to Hobonichi will say. RJ fighting Car Painter. That's exactly what Attack Slug sounds like, by the way. It's a semi-scripted fight. He will do the same moves in the same order. But not always for the same damage rolls, and his lightning can be inaccurate. Not this time, though. Big ol' lightning roll. Alright, that is unfortunately a forfeit on Dez's side. Again, you hate to see it. You hate to see the game being this big of a jerk. Hold on, I'm setting something up here. Yeah, given the RNG she was dealt, it's understandable. Don't mind me, I'm just putting a dog who looks like Kevin James on screen here. Because you need something over there. RJ dropped his equipment, dropped the teddy bear, is now going to die on purpose, because that is what you do in this speedrun. I can boost that game audio, because it's a little low. Here we go. Yeah, it's true, Slug. You did finish your run last night out of pure spite and hatred. Not everyone has the gumption and the hatred to continue on after the game is that big of a jerk to you. The mole is occasionally doing its job. It is confused right now, but it still finished the job. Not the worst death warp I've ever seen. Honestly, one of the worst death warps I've ever seen was one of my own. So this wasn't that, thankfully. Yeah, well, it was during a tournament race. Because sometimes, Carpenter's a big dummy, where he either drags the fight on for so long that you're forced to do like a life up or something, and you just have all the HP in the world, and then he suddenly decides to be really accurate with his lightning. Or other times he'll miss you with a pain attack as you're eating a croissant or something. And then you'll gain like 50 hit points from levels on top of that. And then your death warp takes forever. And then the mole can just hit itself so many times that it just dies. And you have to get another mole. Ask me how I know. Jeez, I could command an army with how many people just ask me how I know. A Peen Nation army couldn't hold me back. And enjoy the smooth sounds of the Runaway 5. Because I will be right back. Sorry, the dog had to dance a little bit as well. And RJ talking to the theater owner one extra time, just to make sure that the theater owner gets the memo. Alright, the meme is here. Which bus will it be? Right bus, like a reasonable person. They don't call it right for nothing. Still anyone's race, though, as Kevin James the dog could catch up at any moment. Look at him. He knows he's got this, Kevin James. Do you think Kevin James the dog, like he goes to the dog park and then he name drops things from when he was on King of Queens? Like he'll go up to the other dogs, sniff their butts a little, and then go, you know, Leah Remini and I. You know, Jerry Stiller was a nice man. Whole lot of flies in this graveyard. And trash cans. I don't like any of this. Nor does RJ, by the look of all this twirling that Ness is doing. The spawns have not stopped. And there's the fight. Just swooped right over to him. But this is the ideal thing to do if you fight a single fly. Defend and freeze, because then you'll get through the fight before Paula dies. Swoosed right in. Boy, am I glad that he's in there and I'm out here and he's in there and he's the caveman. He's the sheriff. Another fly. Defend freeze might not help as much in this case, but at least now. Paula already has fire, she gained some levels. Should make Boogey Tent a little bit better of a fight. But that is a death. Makes it up to the zombies this time without too many issues. One of the less costly places to take a death in this run. Because you don't, I mean, in this category, you don't really need Paula alive anyway. You don't need her for Boogey Tent or anything. But even if you did, she gets brought back here. Like magic. And he talks to the zombie lady. You can do that. She doesn't have dialogue, but it's a funny thing to do. Paula's back from the dead, like magic. In the last stretch of the run. But if you thought Ness was disappointing and missed a lot, enjoy Jeff. Enjoy Jeff and the monkey, who he's forced to hang around with. This is the part where Tony joins you. You talk to... I don't know if he's a fellow student or a teacher or what, but you talk to this man. He says he has a project. I guess he's probably a student then. But he gives you a key. The key doesn't work. It's very funny. His one and only move is wasting time. RJ not dropping the spray can. Maybe has seen how cruel the Boogey Tent has been to other runners in this tournament. And maybe also accounting for the fact that his opponent has dropped out of the race, just has to finish at this point. So having that extra money does help if you do die to the Boogey Tent. You can get even more bottle rockets for the second attempt. Or it's just muscle memory from running glitchless. In a full glitchless run, you need that money. Because you buy a whole lot of rockets for fighting mini-barf and stuff. You need money for, you know, the theater and Foresight and stuff. Who can say? Not taking any fights up there. We're just going into Brick Road with level 1 Jeff. Fixing that spray can. Making extra sure not to get that photo. Because you can do that where you go underneath the tent instead of above it to skip that photo, but there's about a pixel between you and the photo spot if you do that. Also, seeing the optimization, the Bubble Monkey was really close to Tessie, and now Jeff is going to be really close to Tessie on this side. A little frame saver there, looks like. I do not know how to do that. But RJ does. Yeah, if you have any emotes of this funny purple sea monster, I believe one of them is a follower emote of this channel. So you should have at least one. We got regular Tessie, blue Tessie, home improvement Tessie. Muppet Tessie. Fighting the first protoplasm. Getting hit for 11 damage, that is sort of unlucky. Not getting hit on the second round. Alright, it was a scary round one, but it improved later. He usually only hits you for 10 or less, but if he hits you for higher than 10 damage, at that point, even if you fought a dog at the North of Winters, you might still die. So a little spicy. But he got through. Trying to skip this duck. You know, it likes to get itself stuck in that corner. And refuse to move down any further. Eventually deciding to just fight the thing. This has a decent amount of HP right now, just in case. And get past second proto, doesn't have to fight it. Wick is asking, who should I ask? Should I ask who this dog is I keep seeing everywhere? That is Kevin James. He was in King of Queens, as well as Paul Blart Mall Cop. That was a nice skip. That was both the skill and RNG that he needed, because you need the monkey to follow you that whole way. And he got both. Stuttering past these slugs. Slugs aren't moving around a whole lot, that's good. Nothing you can do to get past that mushroom, though. Yeah, I don't know about that one. The mushrooms have a small aggro radius, but they're not that small. Oof. Ooh, that one was close. The monkey stopping did not help. He's been getting through without fights so far on this pond cave. Fortunately, there's not much you can do in this final room besides just despawning repeatedly. Because there's a whole lot of mushrooms. in a tight area that you can't fit around without fighting them. Still more despawning. Grabs the bottle rocket, not pulling a peen train and forgetting to grab that rocket. You know, there was exactly one stream where I had the picture of this dog as my live split background, and I couldn't handle it. He was looking at me knowingly as my run went further and further into the red. Staring at me like, not going so hot, is it? So I don't recommend doing that. Yeah, eventually. RJ did in fact remember to press A for the Skyrunner to take off. Got past that skill checkpoint. And now we sit here for 2.5 minutes. I suppose, you know, at this point I could tell you what else is going on for this week. There are races tomorrow, I know that much. Appears to be one. Oh, there's a quad. There's Oxcat versus Octopus Cal, as well as Ico versus Terrific Tracy. Both going on at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then Derek GNC versus Crimson Green should be about right after that. So if you thought that this week of races was over already after today, why would you think that? You're wrong. There are more tomorrow. Alright, Skyrunner's finally landing. We will see if that extra spray can comes in handy. Hopefully not. Hopefully no funny business. Not standing quite close enough to that door. Here it is. This is it, Luigi. Fighting the namesake of this category. With a little dog hanging out on the side of it. You know, sometimes it's just a tiny white dog on your cheek. Jeff with the terrible damage roll. The teddy bear goes down. Oh, but Paula does have fire. That's gonna help. Forgot about the fights he was taking in the graveyard. Good thing. Good thing with how low Jeff rolled. And the 10's down. Should be a 112. Because this Boogey tin is very much freeze resistant, so if Paula doesn't have fire, she's a little bit useless on this fight. But she had fire. Because she gained levels. So she helped. That's true, that tiny dog in Threed could have been Kevin James. Gigi, thank you all for watching. Do you have anything to say to close it out? Kevin James the dog? Don't throw your used batteries into the woods! It harms the wildlife! Thank you, Kevin James. And thank you all for watching. Again, there are at least a couple of races going on tomorrow. So stay tuned to this very channel for that. And I don't know if there's like a raid going on. I don't know if I can initiate that. I think I might be able to. I'm able to like change the stream title. I have that access. See if I can do that. Because I see some people live playing Earthbound right now. I can. Can I do it from chat? I can't do it from chat. Maybe I can do it from a web browser. Yeah, do the search here. There we go. Yeah, Lord Taco's running some Earthbound. He was doing commentary earlier on this very channel. So there's a voice you heard a few minutes ago. And thanks for watching this restream.